PhD, Professor for Business Informatics and Administrative Information Technology at the Technical University of Applied Science, Wildau. Her research and teaching work centers on process and project management, business applications, information security. It's quite relevant that she, in 2010, she founded the Wildau Institute for Innovative Teaching, Lifelong Learning, and Constructing Evaluation.
Thank you very much for this warm welcome. I'm really happy to be here for this keynote talk. However, before we thinking about learning processes in the digital world, you may ask yourself, where is Wildau? So the first slide shows the answer. The Technical University of Applied Sciences, Wildau, is in the southeast of the capital, Berlin, and has a good airport and motorway connection, as well as our own railway station for local trains. So it's pretty good to come and visit us. The university was founded in 1991 after the fall of the wall and has a really long engineering tradition. Nevertheless, nowadays, we have also non-technical studies, and we are a small university but smart, and with a strong focus on integration of research and teaching. So these pictures should give a short impression of this. My outline is, first the introduction, the question why. Why do we need to think about the whole topic? Then I will summarize some aspects from the serious game-based learning, and further on about authentic learning approaches. Then I will give concrete examples from a project called Information Security Awareness for Job Beginners. In short, the title is SecAware for Job. And then I will come to the conclusions, and the last slides are references. So, just ask why. Last Wednesday, when I started to come to the US, a German newspaper titled an article with a sentence, "Software is eating the world." And the article shows that our lives are increasingly determined by programming codes. And the newspaper asks whether democracies can leave this development in the hand of private companies. Besides this more political aspect, the title of the article, "Software is Eating the World," reminds on Joseph Weizenbaum. He wrote in 1977, "The programmer is the creator of universes whose sole legislator is himself." And this was in 1999. This tie-in was underpinned by the lawyer, US lawyer Lawrence Lessig, with his thesis, "Code is Law." In this more systemic thinking, code is a regulatory instance comparable to law for market and social norms because it lays down behavioral guidelines. So software and code is also a proper and effective regulatory instrument for dealing with knowledge and structures. This in mind, have to have in mind that we also have norms in cyberspace, and that program code, software, and digitization itself structures and changes social worlds. So, digitization and virtualization requires that employees be prepared for the digital transformation. And not only employees, of course, citizens too, more or less all human beings. But how to do this? Think about some examples, some short hints. Searching with only one search engine, or using social networks naively, or taking fake news as true facts, or developing Internet of Things and ignoring possible cybercrime threats, or thinking about automatic administrative acts in smart enterprises or smart cities with smart technologies. All these short examples lead to the conclusion that through comprehensive digitalization and virtualization, value decisions are related to algorithm, and of course, human action is changing. This means digital skills and competencies are not only missing for the digital culture and digital work in organizations, but also from the perspective of social development. Digitization of the working world puts new demands on employees' competencies, and digitization of the democratic, social, and private world puts new demands on citizens. And this goes hand in hand. Of course, from the view of employers, hard skills are needed. Media competence, basic IT competence, technical knowledge. But from the survey, we know that a number of soft skills are of high relevance in the digital world. And here you see such results from a survey of employers in Germany and Austria and Switzerland. And you see willingness to engage with changes, ability to copy with complexity, ability to copy with uncertainty and risks, ability to think in broad terms and connections, to be competent to prioritize, self-management, communication skills, willingness to learn, ability to work in different kinds of teams, willingness to take a responsibility, and of course, a deeper understanding of the processes. How to achieve this? We think that a gaming component is a possibility to get more emotions in that learning environments. So, at first, we know from the research and practice that serious game-based learning has 4 positive learning elements, mainly motivation, higher motivation, direct feedback, practice, try and try and try again, and reinforcement because of the repetition. Moreover, we know from research that serious games, digital video games, work really good. If it's not so easy to develop a good video game, but it works really good. And the research in different countries show that there are 3 more reasons to use games. A better behavior, a better performance, and a harder work by the learners. And also from US research, we see more motivation, more productive learners, more engagement, but I will focus here. In the US, 97% of teachers use digital games created for educational use. And in contrary to this, we think that analog games might be very useful for the needed soft skills also. So needed for teamwork, needed for discussions, for collaboration, for decision-making processes. Further on, we know from research that the so-called 21st century competencies include collaboration, real-world problem solving, and of course communication skills, and more or less an overall global awareness. And we also know that we, as a professor or teacher or instructor, whatever, need to engage people through social learning, much more than we do it now. And the third hint is from research we know also that we need educational options for managing digital transformation with much more feedback systems or feedback as we do it now. This leads to authentic learning approaches because these approaches describe learning through applying knowledge in real-life contexts and situations. The four main characteristics of authentic learning approaches are an activity that involves the real-world problems, an open-ended inquiry, an engagement in discourses and social learning environments, and of course, the last point here, learners are responsible for their learning, but with an authentic learning environment, they can direct their own learning in project work. All these things together, we did a project. And this project combines analog simulations. Simulations in this sense means learning scenarios for a specific topic. And we do this in a so-called IT security arena. You can use each specific topic separately, but you also can use it as a circle training. Then we developed corresponding digital simulations for mobile devices, of course. And we use several different interactive methods and combine these as an integrated learning system. And this integrated learning system, what is this here? So, no. It works? Yes. We called integrated learning 3.0 because we have a knowledge transfer. This is not necessary, but with interactive emotional-based elements and team action, team communication, and a decision-making process. And now I will give you some specific examples. A simple way for analog games are cards. In this case, you have to find the right phrases and sentences. For instance, the password shall, as a rule, never be disclosed to another person. A more complex other example is this. We have a really big map concerning the problem security on the go. In this case, airport and surrounding, hotel and meeting rooms and so on. All in all, these are 14 stations, and the learner has to recognize and be aware of risk and threats. And in the first round, they get orange cards, and they have to find all these 14 risk situations. And in the second part, they will have blue cards, and they have to assign the solution, which means also to change a little bit, or what can I do to change my behavior. Such risks at this map here are listed here, so 14 situations: abandoned document and dumpster diving, or unprotected Wi-Fi, or social engineering, and so on. The next example you will see here. It's concerning social engineering. From research, we know that there are 6 main human characteristics. These are recognition, stress, reliability, fear, helpfulness, and curiosity, which are very often used from social engineers to get information. So we have a big map, and we have cards with several different specific situations. And the question is, if a social engineer uses this situation to get information from me, and I will give it to her or him, why do I do this? What is my specific social gateway he could dock on? So this is really also a really pretty nice game. And we have, all in all, for our security arena, I think nearly 20 such different analog games, most in German and also many in English. On the other hand side, of course, we developed also digital simulations. Here you see some for the social engineering. You hear such situation, and you have to decide what is the social gateway. Why can the social engineer get the information? Here you see the phishing simulation, and it shows 2 different levels. First, you have to decide, is it phishing or not? And a more complicated level is to say, why is it a phishing mail? What are the criteria to see that it is a phishing mail? Well, and of course, we have many, many different things and combine them in such integrated learning scenarios. Coming to the conclusion, our research and our practice. in our combination, in our specific combination with analog and digital game-based learning and the use of different interactive methods, we have really good evaluations. So we see that the advantages of the analog learning games lies of course, in the team solution, in the exchange of experience, in the exchange of knowledge, and it's a real good sensitization that you can do with it. Together with the authentic learning scenarios, it is really possible that we develop the ability to think contextually, and we get a deeper understanding for the processes behind. The digital, of course, with the digital games, we also develop digital competences. But a main point here is that they, of course, are independent of location and time. And they can make better account of individual knowledge. So the existing individual knowledge could be developed by offering different levels of difficulties. Well, so all in all, we say from our experience that game-based learning in the combination of analog and digital with authentic learning approaches and interactive methods is being viewed as an effective teaching and learning method, especially as a means to stimulate motivation, and that we need, and change behavior. It's really a good thing for sensitization. Oh, I'm too quick. But nevertheless, thank you very much.